Hi there, today we're installing this Alpine single DIN head unit into this Toyota Hiace here. It'll be a nice and easy install today. Just have a really simple wiring harness, and we have plugs which are going to match. We're going to use a pocket to fill up the top gap, and more or less this is one of the better Alpine units, so this customer should be really pleased with the end result. Just checking where the splits in these plastics are to make sure we are taking out the right bit. Looks like that's connected all through there. This will come out from this line here. So, starting from this corner here, we just pried that up and just working our way along. There we go. Now we have access to 4 screws back here. Those are what mount this unit particularly into this vehicle. So we always use a magnetic tip screwdriver when removing head units. That way if we happen to drop a screw, it's a lot easier not to as well, but if we happen to, we can pick it up with the magnetic tip. We've got 4 screws in this head unit. One up the top, one down the bottom, and it's the exact same on the other side. So let's just crack those guys off. Now we've got our 4 screws out on either side, we can remove this unit and we'll find the factory connections at the back of it. So for this one, we've got one blue lead here and a really nice and simple antenna lead. Only 2 connections in the back there. We have a few spare plugs, 1 and 2, which weren't being used. We've also got this big main plug. This is for the radio, and this is going to give power to our new head unit. This is for the antenna or the radio as well. It's going to give our reception, and we've just got to plug those into the new head unit. Go from there. So this is really nice and simple. When you're using the plug and play kits, they will just plug into each other. So our factory connection plugs into this aftermarket connection for a Toyota, and those 2 connections will plug into our other lead, which will then run to our Alpine head unit and give the whole thing power. For this vehicle, it only has front speakers, so this plug here is specifically for rear left and rear right speakers. In this harness we've got front speakers and left front speakers on either side here, so that's going to be included in this plug. This is our Alpine specific harness, so this is going to plug into our Alpine unit on the other end, but for this end this marries up to our Toyota specific harness. So plugging those in, and then we've got our plug there for the unit, and that's just going to plug in the back. Now by all means, once we put a face on this unit, we should have power. Let's just plug the antenna in while we're here. Antenna plug's quite obvious, it's a big circle hole in the back of the unit. Starting from this end with the plugs, we're going to tilt it in, and that locks in this little bracket here, and that's it. Taking screws out with a gun's okay, but you don't really want to put them back in with this. If you over tighten the bolt, you could do damage to the inside of the new radio. We're just securing our first screw down. Just thinking. So we've just added our side brackets on. Yep. Got the 2 side brackets first added to attach the metal to the actual unit. We've then added this little side bracket plastic here called an ATB2. That makes it fit perfectly in any factory Toyota location. We've just put a screw through there. After that we've added the pocket in, and to lock that pocket in we've just put a little screw through there which goes through the metal, the plastic, and locks into the pocket. So that is all one rock solid unit now, and that's what it's going to look like when it's in the car. So we've just run our microphone from up the top here down to the bottom underneath the dash. Fed this little pickup pull through so we can pull it back into where the unit's going to mount. I've just pulled the microphone wire through, so now that can be plugged into the head unit, and that's all the accessories that we need before we can mount this guy in. So there will be a microphone plug on the back there which we're just going to use, and that is that. We've got locating pins here. It should sit perfectly in place, so just like that. Got to put the screws back in and we're all done. So we've got 2 screws up here, one just there and one just down there. Using our magnetic screwdriver so that it doesn't fall off. I'm going to mount that screw into there. And that is our radio mounted in location. All we need to do now is clip the fascia back on, which we've got over here. The same way it came off is kind of how you want to put it on. So from memory, the middle kind of came on first, and then it went round to the sides. But gotta love Toyotas because they clip in really easily. So working from that left side, we're just pushing in the panels where the clips are. So usually you can feel where the resistance is and you just want to push where that resistance is. All these clips should still be lined up. We shouldn't have any issues here. Check our buttons are still working, yep. Our vents are still working, yep. And that's it. Everything looks like it did when it came out, except now we have a working radio. New head units in, we're good to go.